Putin Bad News Massive drone attack from Kyiv as Putin sends in untrained soldiers to the front. The British Ministry of Defence has claimed that Russian President Vladimir Putin is sending large numbers of poorly trained troops to the front lines, citing the reluctance of some elements to fight in this conflict. Russia is convicting nearly 100 soldiers per week for refusing to fight, and this number will rise to around 5,200 by the end of the year, the government noted in its daily intelligence briefing. The high rate of convictions demonstrates the poor state of morale in the Russian army and the reluctance of some elements to fight, the MOD said. Although some soldiers have refused to fight and attrition rates remain high, the article continues, Russia highly likely mitigates their loss by committing a mass of poorly trained soldiers to the frontline. Moscow has accused Ukraine of launching the largest drone attack on its soil since the conflict began, and the update from the MOD comes on the same day. The regional governor of Western Russia has reported that at least 4 Russian military transport planes were destroyed in a drone attack at the Pskov airport. On Wednesday, the Kremlin made its first explicit acknowledgement that mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin may have been assassinated by saying that investigators were looking into the possibility that his plane had been downed on purpose. When asked about the investigation, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters, "It is obvious that different versions are being considered, including the version, you know what we are talking about, let's say, a deliberate atrocity." When asked if the International Civil Aviation Organization would launch an investigation into the crash, Peskov said that the unique circumstances warranted a separate inquiry, though he added that investigators had not yet reached any definitive conclusions. "Let's wait for the findings of our Russian probe," Peskov said. According to RIA, Russia's defense ministry announced on Wednesday that Russian forces had successfully attacked multiple Ukrainian command and intelligence targets. The statement was made after the largest strikes against Kyiv since spring killed 2 people overnight. Pope Francis's remarks to Russian youth reminding them they are the heirs of the Great Russian Empire have prompted the majority Catholic EU member Lithuania to summon the Vatican's top diplomat in the country. A spokesperson for the Lithuanian Foreign Affairs Ministry said on Wednesday that the country had invited the Apostolic Nuncio for a talk once the Archbishop returned from vacation, in response to Francis's impromptu remarks made in a live video address to Catholic youths gathered in St. Petersburg on Friday. The Vatican said on Tuesday that Pope Francis did not mean to praise Russian imperialism when he praised Peter the Great and Catherine II, who both contributed to the growth of the Russian Empire. Catherine II of Russia annexed what is now Lithuania and Poland in the 18th century. After 2 revolts against the empire in the 19th century were violently put down, the countries declared independence during World War I. To preserve and promote all that is positive in the great Russian cultural and spiritual heritage, the Vatican said of Francis's stated goal. Ukrainian officials have called the remarks deeply regrettable. Ukraine was a part of the same empire. The Kremlin said it was very gratifying to see these results. Despite its relatively small population of 2.8 million, the vast majority of Lithuanians are Roman Catholic, and the country has long been an outspoken critic of Russia and supporter of Ukraine within the European Union and NATO. Despite being annexed by the Soviet Union, the Catholic Church's anti-communist, pro-independence stance is still held in high regard throughout the country. Since it did not recognize the annexation, the Vatican maintained Lithuanian diplomatic representation to the Holy See during this time. When Pope Francis visited Lithuania in 2018, he held a mass in front of an estimated crowd of 100,000 people,